Black heroes have greatly influenced our community of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Working for inclusion and equity for all. In this unique Black History Month series, brought to you by Family Fuse and the Black Council of Windsor-Essex, we highlight some of those leaders and pioneers, shedding light on their contributions and the legacy upon which we stand. Today, we introduced you to Scholastica Lyanga. Scholastica Lyanga is a community leader, advocate, and volunteer. Ms. Lyanga was born in Tanzania, East Africa, and moved to Canada in June 1973 with her husband, Dr. John Lyanga, and their young daughter. She has been serving the community since her youth, first in Tanzania and then in Windsor, volunteering for 20 different organizations around Windsor-Essex, many for which she served on the executive board. Ms. Scholastica was a volunteer with Windsor Women Working with Immigrant Women, also known as W5, for 30 years, where she ran the Investing in Women's Future program that taught life and computer skills. Until recently, she was also the project manager and volunteer coordinator and a member of the board of directors, where she served in various capacities. She is currently the president of the African Women's Association of Windsor and a volunteer judge with Munch Africa, an interactive cultural food competition featuring renowned chefs from all over Canada with origins from every part of Africa that aims to support local farmers as well as African food and agricultural tourism in southwestern Ontario. And for over 40 years, she has been a member of the Catholic Women's League of Canada, where she receives an abundance of support for her local community efforts. Finally, she is a revered elder with the Black Council of Windsor-Essex, where she lends her wisdom in an advisory capacity. Ms. Scholastica says that without God, her husband, and her family, none of her efforts would have been possible.
A few people in my life are the ones kind of put that in my system, and it came out later on. One was my grandmother, who was married for a couple of years, and when she had a second child, she was 18 years old and she lost her sight. My grandmother was a very strong person. She died a couple of years ago, 116 years old. But with no sight, still grandmother, every Saturday, if I visited them, on my vacations, and she would say, let's go to, she went to church every morning, 6 o'clock. But on Saturday was a special day, and we'll help in the church, we'll clean the church. And then when we finish, I said, now, are we going home? She says, no, Scholastica, we are going to visit the sick. I said, why should we visit the sick? And she says, we are going to help them. We are going to see if they need water, they need food, and we even strip their houses. I said, grandmother, but they should be helping you because you don't see. And she says, that's not the case. Having no sight doesn't mean that it's the end of everything. I still have my hands. I can do it. So we went on Saturday. We cleaned 5 to 6 houses, fetch water, cook the meals. And when we were done, we went home and she did the chores in the house. So she's very, very instrumental. So when I get a situation where I hesitate to do it, and grandmother always comes around. So that's number one. The second person are my parents. My parents were very strange. They didn't seem to care who was their friend. To them, they said, we are not supposed to be judgmental. We are supposed to help each other, whether somebody's not what we want her to be, but when she comes for help, we help. And one particular situation is we had an older man who lived in our house for over 40 years, and father met him on the street, an older person, and he was homeless. And they were talking, and he said, where are you going? He says, I don't have a home. So he said, come to my house. So they walked towards home, and mother said, oh, you have brought a visitor. And my father said, yes, a permanent visitor. Because we do have a space in the backyard. We had a room in the backyard. It was a fenced backyard. So he's going to take one as a bedroom and one as a kitchen. And actually, he lived there until died in May 1993. And the old man died April 1993. Yeah, so he became part of our family. I love myself. I think I tell a lot of people, especially women, when I work with W5, I think it was experience that I found many women did not love themselves. When you don't love yourself, you're not going to achieve anything. You have to love yourself. And once you feel good about yourself, then you can go out and do good things to other people. As I said, first thing, to love themselves, and then to forgive. It's very, very crucial. Sometimes there are people who hurt us so much. If we don't forgive them, then they hinder our progress. Once you love yourself and you forgive, you set your goal, and just move with it. Don't look behind, because you're going to meet a lot of people who are going to tell you, this is not good for you. This is not good for you. But once you know deep down in your heart that that's good for you, you do it. When you get up, you have to do something. Ask God to show you where to go. Get in your car. If we are going to a certain place or to someone, ask God, is it the right time for me to go to this person, or it's not the right time to go to this person? And believe me, I would get into my car. I got the end of my road, and my car will not go where I was supposed to go. And I go some places. And later on, I found that where I was supposed to go was not safe for me. So I've learned to listen to myself and not to the other people. I do what makes me happy, not what makes my family, my husband, my community happy. Me, I don't care.